So 2025 has felt like more than a month so far, more like several. And short PSA, if you happen to live in Germany and you have relatives who are in danger of voting black or blue, please, 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 please convince them not to do that. I don't care if you don't talk to them. This is the time to reconnect with them and convince them not to do that. But that's enough of the politics PSA. I just needed to get that off my chest. And welcome to my January vlog. I just wanted to experiment with showing you all the snippets that make me piece together what I actually did that month. So I went thrifting and found this very nice pullover that I did not buy because it was mostly polyester and I don't do that. But you might see it again at some point. And there were these things that harken back to my trends video, because of course I keep my eyes open for these things. Really like that blazer. Also didn't fit perfectly, so I didn't buy it. And then came the snow, which feels like it has been ages ago. It hasn't even been a month, and it feels like it's been at least half a year. It started snowing when I was at work and I actually left early because I was afraid of the trains not running. Because the German train system has a bit of a problem, and one part of that is that they apparently have never seen snow. Everything is white, it's so good. This makes me so happy. They apparently cannot operate as soon as there's one single snowflake within the confines of the country lines. However, I absolutely love snow. I was squealing throughout my whole way back home because it was so nice and it muffles every sound and muffles the harshness of the world. And I really, really love it. What I didn't love were the exams this month. We have a few things during the semester as well, but in January we have all the big things. And this one was law, and I already know that I passed it, which I am very, very happy with, because I did not want to do law again. I still have one law lecture in front of me and I don't like it. I decided to put in some footage of my everyday DIY stuff, which is not particularly glamorous. We are so very used to everything having to be social media ready and pretty. Well, most of the things aren't, and yet they are valid. The thing with being sustainable and doing a lot of DIY is that most of it isn't pretty. It's not shiny, it's not something I would put somewhere in the internet, and yet in this case I do. Most of it is just making tiny alterations and fixing things and cutting things into rags to use instead of paper towels. I just wanted to put this in because it's still valid and I need people to know that, even if it's not pretty. So I love picking up books from my uni library because we do have a fashion design department, and while I do not study there, those are the only books I ever borrow. And funnily enough, and that was kind of a bit of a miracle, I found a book that I have been searching for 20 years. Because I picked it up as a teen in my local library and never found it again. Not there, not anywhere else, and the title was too common to do a decent internet search for it. And then, by chance, I picked it up at the uni library, and I ordered myself a copy as well. So that was great. Then there came exam number 2, which was media history and media types. And I guess I passed. Don't think it has been graded yet. And I take something off of my long-term to-do list, which is going skating, because I haven't been ice skating in years, like at least 5. I do love ice skating. Sadly, the rink was full of kids and teenagers that were there with their teachers. It was a school thing, or several school things. I kept tripping over fifth graders, which was quite annoying, but in the end, there was some free space because they had to go, and I got to go swoosh for a bit. And I missed that, really, because I have been indoctrinated by the Mighty Ducks films during some impressionable years. A lot.
And immediately afterwards, I got horribly sick, and still am, which enabled me not to sleep and instead read a fuck ton of Wikipedia articles on dead rich German people. It's not like I haven't read those before, partially, but oh god, yeah. So I'm trying to get my fever down and be less coffee and be okay by Monday, because then I have a pretty important appointment at work that I do not feel like that's a kettle in the background. Um, a pretty important thing at work that I don't want to reschedule, and I still have 2 exams left next week. Well, it is the night from January to February, and as you can see, I still look pretty bad. Um, I'm still sick. It's getting a lot better. Uh, I'm just not. I think I am lucky to not be used to this. I am intellectually aware that 1 week of being sick is basically nothing. I've been sick for several weeks before. It's not like the first time I've ever had this. Like, not this specifically. It's not been several weeks of influenza, luckily. Um, but I've had worse things than this. It's been a while though. Um, and as much as this bothers me, I think in the end it also makes me appreciate my health more and makes me see what I can actually do with my body and how capable I usually am. Like, I went out of the house yesterday, and the usually not even 5 minutes to the to the tram station felt like an eternity, and I was so winded afterwards. And like, we live on the third floor in an old house, so it's more like fourth floor normal ceiling height. um and that those stairs were such a boss. That was really brutal. And I am so aware that this is not normal for me, and that I am very, very lucky for that. Like, I don't want to be ungrateful for what I usually have. And I'm very, very much looking forward to being healthy again, and doing things again, and being able to walk for more than 5 minutes before I need a break. I think things like this, as shitty as they may be, make us more empathic to people who have things like these chronically. On the other hand, uh, I am so very, very annoyed that this cost me a whole week of January. So this is the very first time in my life that I missed an exam because of being sick, or in general. I've never missed an exam before. Uh, and this annoys me to no end because it just means more paperwork and having to do it again, or rather having to do it after all of the others, and and not being done with the semester yet. I have no idea about the procedures because, as I said, I never missed an exam before, and it's really annoying. Uh, yeah, so I'll see about that. But, all in all, this is kind of a bummer as an end for my first monthly vlog. By the way, I have a slope. This is my slope because I still have to sleep sitting upright, more or less, or at least somewhat, or else or else I can't sleep because of the stupid coughing. Um, yeah, cannot recommend. 0 out of 10. On the other hand, I'm super happy that my partners are good again already, and well, I'll just take it slow. I'll just be kind to myself, even though that's usually quite hard, and I am very impatient that way. And I hope, yeah, I hope you had a good first month of the year. Um, and I hope you haven't been sick, and if you were, or if you still are, I hope you have a speedy recovery. Uh, and I don't know where these monthly vlogs are going, or if I'll make another. But I just think it's fun, um, and it helps me to appreciate some of the everyday more than usual. Even though I kind of appreciate my everyday, I think I'm rather good at this actually. Uh, but yeah, so this is it's an experiment. Don't worry, the whole other stuff isn't going anywhere either. So yeah, technically, like calendarily, um, it's already February, so I should probably go to sleep. See you next month.